Facebook friends, Marianne here, and today is a very special day that I want to take the time to share with you. It is called Dia de los Muertos, and it is something that started within the ancient Native Americans in, basically in Mexico. And it was where the Aztecas, the Mayas, Zapotecas, all the different Native American traditions would take the time to really revere and recognize the impact that their ancestors had on their lives. It could be immediate ancestors like their parents, or it could be ancient going back, ones that they didn't even remember the names of. But it was just pausing and realizing and recognizing that we stand on the shoulders of all those who came before us, that they strived and worked so hard to open the doors and opportunities and to teach us what they learned so that we could move forward. And that beautiful cross between the beauty of life and, yes, the beauty of death, and recognizing that we're all part of that cycle is a humbling and sacred experience. And so that became melded into the modern Mexican culture, and you can see that in any of the grave sites there. But here in Texas, where we've had Hispanic community for a long time, it's also very strong. And my family being Catholic, out at the Catholic cemetery, they have an absolutely beautiful thing that happens where the mariachis come out at night. People hire them to sing at grave sites. Tonight I actually got to hear an Aztec pipe and someone drumming. But people go out to their grave sites and they do whatever would make their ancestors happy. Last year I played Neil Diamond to my dad. But one of the symbols of this is called the Katrina, and I'll use this box. This is actually a gift for little Maya Luna, my friend Tanya's little girl. But as you can see, the monarch butterfly, the symbol of rebirth. A lot of people don't realize that butterfly can live up to 25 years, and it goes back and forth. And if it didn't make that cycle, we wouldn't have the corn on this land. So they are so integral to life. And so having them contrasted with the skull, represents how there's all a beautiful cycle of life and death that we're a part of, and recognizing the beauty of that there is beauty in death and beauty in life, and to be humble enough to recognize our role in it, and the fact that we have to depend on all the sacrifices and knowledge and wisdom gained from those before us in order to move forward. It's so integral. And things have changed so much. My own parents made huge sacrifices in order to adopt me because, they were socially isolated. As those of you that went and heard at my mom's funeral, Jackie and her husband stood up for them, and they helped them, push through that. But when they interracially adopted me, it wasn't a popular thing. But anyway, back then, I never would have thought there'd be a brown Barbie. But now, look at this. Barbie has made a Katrina. Sorry, a Katrina, I meant to say. But isn't that beautiful? Anyway, so you can see it's become more and more widely accepted and understanding. So, Halloween, as most of you all know, was All Hallows Eve, which meant to be a holy evening, a time when we recognized that the ancestors were coming back, and that's what the Irish did. But unfortunately, well, it's fun, but people have forgotten the sacred symbols behind it. So, these days, Halloween is kind of the festive one, but Dia de los Muertos harkens back to that original sacred meaning. So you can kind of see, we balance it. We have all the fun pumpkins and ghosts out in front, but what I like is you can kind of see the sky, hopefully. I hope the reflection isn't too bad here. But anyway, this is our skull out in front. But anyway, again, it's all decorative because it's showing that balance between life and death, and that we all are part of that cycle, and that it's a sacred thing, that we should be humble and celebrate it. This was a beautiful Katrina that was gifted to us by Philip Collins. I think it's just gorgeous. You can really see her back in here. So they're often, have symbols like these, flowers, because again, it's all about life and death being in balance, and recognizing that we are all on borrowed time, and I think that's such an important thing. This is a beautiful painting that was done by a friend. You can kind of see all the different avatars. But, we imagine or hope that our ancestors are in a better place. And regardless of what culture or or spiritual path you're on. I think most people want to have a connection with those who came before. So that's what Dia de los Muertos is about. And when you celebrate who people were and what they meant to you, you invite them to be part of your life today. So, yeah, I'm going to share some of my altar. I keep my altar up all year long, but I don't always have it lit. So obviously, this is Anthony, one of my closest spirit brothers. Just absolutely beautiful soul. He could light up a room just by smiling. And this time of year, he used to make these wonderful arrangements with pumpkins and flowers coming out, and I sent to everybody. He was such a beautiful, beautiful soul. Down here, you can see this little picture. This was my mom with her sister. I believe that was Laura. Yes. This is, I'm sure many of you guess, this is my mom. Over here we have Ken Campbell. He was just such a wonderful, wonderful presence within Mimosine Institute and taught me so many different things. And yes, those of you who are asking, those are pralines. It's traditional to put the food out that people loved, and my mom loved pralines. I truly loved them. So I have them on the altar tonight. Similarly, I have blueberries over here because that was my dad's favorite thing in the world. So blueberries for my dad. So anyway, Marcia Hightower, Boya K. Aram, just beautiful, beautiful people that played such a huge role in shaping the Mimosine Institute in my life. Here is what I always have. A letter from my grandmother. One of the last things that she sent me. And over here, some of you probably will recognize him, Charles Ward. He always went out of his way to be supportive and try to, enthusiastic about trying to help me move forward with things. Lawrence Bloom, any of you that go to a hotel, I mean anyone that goes to a hotel, and you get that little card that says, we care about the environment, only wash your towels if they're down, hang them up if you're willing to participate in our program. That was just one of like 50 things that Lawrence Bloom did. So, he actually single-handedly pretty much overhauled the hotel industry by getting them all to sign something that would change them from being major polluters to part of the solution on the environment worldwide. And he did that by getting Prince Charles to invite everybody to the palace. And then once all the CEOs were there, he had Prince Charles come out with something that it would mean a lot to me if you all signed the dotted line. So this man, that's just one of many things he did, but he just changed so much in your world positively for the environment that you probably have no idea. So just a truly amazing human being. And he opened doors for us with Mimosine that we're still benefiting from. Over here, another good friend of ours that passed away, Don Drain, and he's just a wonderful veteran and just fought so hard to try and help our country. And it really was like a continuation of his life. He just saw being an activist and in service to trying to stand up for people as a way to continue serving. And over here, I don't know if you can really see him. This is Memo, and Memo was always somebody that just, absolutely meant the world to all of us. He always took the time to try and, encourage us, and he was there from the very beginning. Here he's making paper the traditional way by the Tolteca, and just absolutely encouraged us with all of our work. And not everything is obvious. Some of these little packets and things that are on here are from Malomo. Some things here are Coke Buchanan. So even if I don't have someone's photo, there's pretty much something that's representing everyone. And so tonight I was over out at the graveyard, and it's hard to explain. It's celebratory, which is such a beautiful thing. So, my dad's rosary. So a lot of people don't realize this can be a very Christian thing. It can be a very Native American thing. It's about you. So it's not evil. It's not scary. I would actually say, and I'm quoting Anne Rice here, but she said something very beautiful. She said that to pretend that death doesn't happen and to avoid it is more superstitious than really accepting it and looking at it. When we recognize our loved ones And we invite them to have a relationship that continues long past the time of death. And in that way, they live with us forever. We make space in our hearts. We make space in our homes. We recognize the path that they took. We recognize the doors they opened. We allow them to be part of who we are. We recognize them for their strengths, for their wisdom. We recognize them for everything that they did, everything they taught. And we invite them to continue to talk with us and to teach us still. So these are things that, to me, are really deeply important. And I hope that this has shared a little bit of what Dia de los Muertos is about, and hopefully helped those of you that are wondering what it means when you see the skulls and the decorations and people trying to make death look pretty. You know, it's about the fact that, yes, someone's passed, but you're here, and you're here because of them. And you're recognizing that that deep and beautiful and profound gift that they gave into your life. And to me, why wouldn't you have a holiday for that? So anyway, just wanted to share with you guys a little bit about Dia de los Muertos. And I hope that even if it's not something that you participate in, and invite you to think about, because I've had a lot of friends who've lost family members and you know, have wondered how they could do something about that. And I tell them, light a candle, think about that person, give time for that moment of mourning. And when you do, it ends up not lightening the burden, but it reminds you to be happy about the things that they did. It reminds you that they were such a blessing in life, that they gave us something, that they would want us to be happy. They would want us to learn, but not to be mired in the sadness. They'd want us to be invigorated by their legacy, because you are their legacy. So will you live up to what they did, what they said, what they expected, what they believed in? Can you walk the path that they left and add your own to it? To me, it's a blessing to even get to be in the position to ask that. So if you've loved someone and lost someone and you're hurting now and you're wondering how to process it, Dia de los Muertos is a beautiful healing opportunity to do that. So, you know, no, it's not cultural appropriation. It's being able to sit and recognize in your own way. I mean, believe me, putting blueberries and pralines on the altar is not tradition. But it is a way that I can recognize people that I deeply love. So I hope that this helps explain it, and sending you guys all my love, and hope you've had a blessed Dia de los Muertos.